Every video about introverts tells you the same thing. You're rare. You're powerful. The people who call you intimidating are just insecure. And there's truth in that. But there's something those videos never tell you. Something the comment sections quietly prove every single day. People are losing jobs over this, losing promotions they actually earned, losing relationships with the people they love most, being pulled into HR offices and told to smile more, being called cold by their own children, being told by their partner that they seem like they don't care, when the truth is they care so much it physically hurts. The hidden price of being the calm one, the quiet one, the one nobody can read, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it without becoming someone you're not. Because the goal was never to make you louder. The goal is to stop you from bleeding for traits that were supposed to be your strength. Just an adjustment that lets you keep who you are without paying more than you should. You're the one who notices the problems before anyone else. You're the one who stays late, thinks things through, and produces results that speak for themselves. And then the promotion goes to someone else. Someone who talks more in meetings. Someone who walks into the boss's office and laughs at the right jokes. Someone whose work you've quietly cleaned up more than once. But the truth is, in most workplaces, the work doesn't speak. People do. And if you're not speaking, the system assumes you're not contributing. Managers consistently rate visible employees as higher contributors, even when measurable output is identical. It's not a meritocracy. It's a visibility contest, and silence loses by default. And the more competent you are at your job, the more invisible the work becomes, because nothing seems to go wrong. Nothing breaks. Nothing screams for attention, and so neither do you. Not bragging, just translation. Translating your work into a language the system recognizes. Because if you don't translate it, someone less competent will translate theirs, and they'll win the room you should have won. Your mother says you never show anything. Your partner says they feel alone, even when you're in the room. Your child says you seem angry when you're just thinking. And every time it happens, something inside you breaks a little, because you do feel. You feel intensely. You feel more than most people realize. You just learned a long time ago that showing it makes everything worse, so you stopped. The people who love you don't need you to be dramatic. They need to see themselves reflected in your face. There's a concept in developmental psychology called emotional mirroring. Daniel Stern's research showed that humans regulate their nervous systems by reading the faces of people they're close to. When your face stays neutral, the person across from you doesn't feel your calm. They feel abandonment. Their nervous system starts searching for a signal, any signal, and when it doesn't find one, it interprets the absence as rejection. And while you're there, give the video a like, because it tells the algorithm to push this conversation to other people who probably need it as badly as you did. I'm not pulling away, I'm processing. 5 words, 10 words. Enough of a signal to let the people who love you know they're not alone in the room with a stranger. Your intimidation, when you choose to soften it with the people who matter, becomes intimacy. And that distinction is everything. The manager closes the door. They use careful words. Some of your coworkers feel you're distant. You don't seem approachable. You should smile more. Make small talk. Be part of the team. And yet somehow you're the one being told to change. And the people who don't, even when their actual work is excellent, get punished for it. So when you enter a workplace and don't perform it, the system doesn't see authenticity. It sees a threat. It sees someone who isn't playing the game. And the game, whether you wanted to play it or not, has consequences. A greeting when you arrive. One genuine question to a coworker per week. Eye contact when someone speaks to you held 1 second longer than feels natural. These aren't betrayals of who you are. They're small payments to a system that, fair or not, demands them. You're not selling your soul. You're paying the entry fee so the system stops charging you in promotions you deserved and meetings you shouldn't have been called into. The loneliness paradox. Why your filter becomes your cage. It's kept your inner life private. It's kept you safe. But on another level, the loneliness gets heavier than you let yourself admit. And here's the part that matters for you. Her research distinguished between objective isolation and subjective loneliness, and both, independently, predicted serious harm. You can be alone and fine. You can be surrounded and devastated. The body doesn't care which version it is. It just registers the absence of meaningful connection and starts dismantling itself slowly. The move here is uncomfortable because it asks you to question something you've defended for years. There's a difference between a filter that decides who enters and a filter that keeps everyone out. The first one is wisdom. The second one is fear wearing the costume of wisdom. Surface connections aren't a betrayal of your depth. They're oxygen. The neighbor you wave at. The coworker you chat with for 90 seconds. The old friend you text once a month even though you have nothing important to say. These small contacts aren't shallow. They're the social nutrients your body actually needs to keep functioning. Keeping your deep filter for the few who earn it is healthy. Refusing all surface contact in the meantime is what slowly eats you. As a small acknowledgement that you saw something here that you needed to see. And if any part of this video has felt like someone finally describing your life accurately, hit the like button. It costs you nothing, and it helps this reach the next person who's been carrying this alone. Maybe it was a single moment, or maybe it was 1,000 small moments stacked on top of each other over years. A parent whose moods you had to predict to stay safe. A bully who waited for any reaction to feed on. A household where showing emotion got you punished, or mocked, or used against you. A relationship where being readable made you a target. You learned to think 3 steps ahead of the conversation. You learned that being calm wasn't a personality trait. It was a survival strategy. And it worked. It worked so well that you stopped recognizing it as a strategy at all. It just became you. Hypervigilance and emotional flattening, the same traits the world labels intimidating, are often adaptive responses to environments where being expressive wasn't safe. The nervous system doesn't ask whether the threat is still there. It just keeps running the program that kept you alive the first time. The walls that kept the wrong people out also keep the right people from getting close. The composure that made you ungrippable also makes you unreachable. And the part of you that learned to stay calm under any circumstance might also be the part of you that has never let itself fully exhale. A question worth sitting with for longer than is comfortable. If your calm was built as protection, is it still protecting you from something real? Or is it protecting you from something that ended a long time ago and just forgot to tell your body? That question alone, asked honestly, can begin to change things. And if anything in this section landed harder than the others, that might be the part of you asking to be looked at. Working with a good therapist isn't weakness. It's the rare kind of strength that doesn't need an audience. And your mind, the same mind that stayed perfectly composed through every interaction today, the same mind that read every room and noticed every detail and stayed calm through everything, will not stop. Replaying conversations, analyzing tones of voice, wondering what you should have said, rehearsing what you might say tomorrow, mapping out worst-case scenarios for situations that haven't happened and probably won't. You've been exhausted for years, and you can't figure out why, because on the outside, your life looks calm. When the external world quiets down, your internal world gets louder. The processing doesn't stop. It just turns inward, and there's no one in there to interrupt it. The move isn't to try to relax. You've probably tried that, and it doesn't work, because the problem isn't tension. The problem is unprocessed input with nowhere to go. The research of James Pennebaker on expressive writing found something remarkable. Spending 10 to 15 minutes writing freely about whatever's on your mind before sleep reduces rumination by significant margins in clinical studies. It's not about producing good writing. It's about giving the mind a place to deposit the weight it's been carrying alone. You're not weak for needing this. You're a deep processor without a release valve, and writing is one of the cheapest, most effective valves ever discovered. 10 minutes. A cheap notebook. No one ever reads it. Let the part of you that won't stop thinking finally have somewhere to put it down. When not needing approval becomes its own prison. And the moment you stopped chasing, something in you settled. You became unreachable in the best way. Unmanipulable. Unmoved by the noise. Brené Brown's research on vulnerability uncovered something that bothered her deeply when she first found it. The same people who reported the strongest self-sufficiency, the ones who insisted they didn't need anyone, also reported the highest levels of unspoken loneliness, the deepest sense of being unknown, and the lowest rates of being able to receive love when it was offered. Self-sufficiency, when it hardens, stops being strength. It becomes a fortress. And fortresses, by design, keep everyone out, including the people you actually want inside. It always feels like power. Until one day you notice you're standing alone in a room you built yourself, and you can't remember the last time anyone saw what was actually inside it. The thought you've been turning over for weeks. The grief you've been carrying that no one knows about. One real thing to one person who has earned it once a month. That's it. Not because you need their approval, because being deeply known is not the same as needing approval. It's the opposite of intimidation. It's the kind of courage that doesn't have an audience. And it's the only antidote to the loneliness that lives quietly underneath self-sufficiency. You traded constant validation for self-trust. You traded being easy to read for being hard to manipulate. You traded performance for authenticity. And those are good trades. Don't let anyone tell you they weren't. Most people will never have what you have. Most people will spend their entire lives chasing approval and never know what it feels like to be settled inside themselves the way you already are. And the people who thrive aren't the ones who pretend they're not paying it. They're the ones who decided to look at the bill clearly, to see which costs are worth it, and which ones they're done paying without realizing they were paying them at all. You don't have to become loud. You don't have to perform. You don't have to become someone you're not. You just have to stop pretending the price isn't there. Because the moment you see it, you get to choose what to do with it. And choosing is the one thing intimidation at its worst slowly takes away from you. And if this video gave you language for something you've been feeling for years without being able to name, hit the like button before you leave. It's a small thing, but it tells the algorithm to show this to the next person who needs it as much as you did. And if you know someone in your life who has been called intimidating, cold, or hard to read, send this to them. Sometimes just being seen accurately is the first thing that lets a person finally exhale.